Hello everyone. On a continuation with our question series, we have with us a renowned developmental pediatrician from Pune, Dr. Archana Kadam. I welcome on behalf of IIT Pune, I welcome Dr. Kadam for this simple questionnaire. This questionnaire is based basically on autism. As we know, we are celebrating autism on 4th of April every year. I welcome Dr. Archana Kadam for the questionnaire. This question is going to help us, the practicing pediatrician, in day-to-day practice. Welcome, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me for this session.
Yeah. So let's begin with the questions. Question is like first question we have for Dr. Kadam is screening for autism recommended in India and for whom?
Considering the increase in the incidence of autism screen is mandated for all children once at 18 months of age and once at 24 months of age, irrespective of whether the child is at low risk or high risk for developmental disorders. This is in addition to the developmental screens that we do.
Okay, that's correct. But is it mandatory for all in India or is only in other countries?
No, in India also IIP recommends autism screening at 18 months and 24 months of age.
So that's it. Then what is MCHAT R follow-up and is it for which patients?
Now the autism screen that we do at 18 months and 24 months is done by this tool which is called as MCHAT-RF. Now this is a simple 20-point questionnaire which has red flags for social and communication. It's a form which is given to the parent to fill out. These are available in translations of Hindi, Marathi. After the parent fills out that form, it is recommended for all children. After the parents fill out that form, you classify the score as low, medium and high risk. If the child's score is above 7, high risk, refer the child for assessment and intervention. If the child's score at 18 months is low risk, the child just needs to come back at 24 months for the repeat screen. If the child's score is in the medium zone, 3 to 7, you administer the RF, which is a revised follow-up, which is just each question analyzed more in detail, where if the child scores more than 2, the child is referred for an assessment and intervention.
Okay. So are these chats available for all of us as a practicing pediatrician?
Yes, they are freely available to download on the net and they are very simple to administer. The parent can do it by themselves.
Okay. Fine. So the MCHAT is a modified checklist for autistic child. Okay.
Yes, modified checklist of autism in toddlers. You use
Toddlers.
it between 16 months and 30 months of age.
Okay. Fine. Then what are the investigations for autistic child? And we like to know something about chromosomal microarrays and Fragile X DNA testing. Is it recommended for all or it's exceptional cases?
Okay. Now the diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder is a clinical diagnosis. So initially when we see the child as a part of the investigation, genetic investigation is not indicated. However, when we are looking at recurrence and especially when parents are planning for the next pregnancy and for us sometimes to prognosticate, we would do genetic testing. Now in genetic testing, the chromosomal microarray is not the first test that we would do. First we would do a clinical evaluation of the child. If the child has phenotype features or dysmorphic features to suggest a syndrome like maybe Fragile X or Prader-Willi, if the child has findings, neurocutaneous markers say suggestive of tuberous sclerosis or findings suggestive of a metabolic abnormality, we would do targeted genetic testing for that. If however there are no such findings, then we would go on to additional genetic testing, wherein comes the role of the chromosomal microarray and the Fragile X test. Now the Fragile X test is basically to check for the triple expansion. This is done by a PCR and that triple expansion gene is not picked up by your microarray. So we need to do a Fragile X especially for boys and where there is a history of intellectual disability in the family and a microarray to supplement it. Microarray is likely to pick up a pathological variation in 17 to 42% of children with autism spectrum. If that is negative, then you would go for a whole exome sequencing.
Okay. So coming up to the investigations again, first we'll discuss about what are the co-occurring conditions with autism spectrum disorders.
Right. Now, autism spectrum is a disorder. It's a spectrum. So every child here is unique. Some of the common co-occurring conditions. One is intellectual disability. 31% of children on the spectrum may have an intellectual disability, but 44% children can have normal to above average IQs. The second common comorbidity is sensory processing difficulties, which are very common with children on the spectrum. So they might find normal sensory processing overwhelming. Maybe a sound of the balloon may be too overwhelming and the child may cover his ears. Or they may seek sensations like spinning or movement, which is proprioceptive seeking. The other difficulties or comorbidities that children could have include hyperactivity. They could have anxiety, depression, obsessive compulsivity. They might have irritability and they sometimes might have self-injurious behaviors. So these are the behavior difficulties which could happen. In addition, children could have a risk for seizures. Simple febrile seizures when they are little, and when the child grows up, there might be a risk of 20% risk of seizures in the adolescent period. In addition, children could have sleep initiation difficulties and other sleep difficulties, and some children could have gut issues like constipation, food allergies, diarrheas, which could be noted.
So accordingly to these conditions, we may plan the investigations according to that.
Right. Every child being unique, you need to go clinically and decide judiciously what investigations you want to do.
Okay. Coming up to the therapeutic part, tell us something about intranasal therapy with neuropeptide, that is oxytocin.
Okay. Now there were a lot of anecdotal reports of use of oxytocin to improve social behavior in children. Now there are two studies which were done extensively for this purpose, one in older children and one in slightly younger children, where they administered oxytocin twice a day intranasally for 8 weeks. But what was found was primary outcomes, which were the caregivers' reports, and secondary outputs, which were looked at as clinical scores given by the clinician, found no difference in the social behavior or emotional recognition in these children. So as of now, we will not recommend use of oxytocin for social behaviors. Core features of social difficulties are not altered with oxytocin.
Okay. So are there any medications for core symptoms of ASD?
Our core symptoms of ASD, unfortunately, as of now, up till now, there is no medication available for core features. As we said, every child is unique, so we need to plan an intervention program looking at every child using conventional therapies. Keep a track on the child's development, because development is a dynamic process. However, for comorbid conditions like hyperactivity or anxiety, we may be able to use some medication.
So what is the role of stimulant medications like atomoxetine?
Okay. Now, drugs like stimulants, which is methylphenidate, or atomoxetine, are drugs which are used for hyperactivity, which may be seen sometimes in children on the spectrum. Now, we don't need to treat every child, but if the child's hyperactivity is interfering with the child's learning in class or the child's social behavior, we might use medication temporarily till our other strategies, our behavior strategies, our classroom strategies fall into place. Now, both the medications, methylphenidate and atomoxetine, can be used in children above 4, but we need to titrate every child's dose individually. A little caution needs to be used while using methylphenidate in young children, because sometimes the child might become irritable. So a close follow-up needs to be kept, and gradually, as the hyperactivity clinically we find the child is doing better, we would wean off.
Then what are to monitor if the child is on stimulant medications? Are there any investigations or just a clinical monitoring?
Generally, we go by a clinical monitoring. In the history, we like to find out whether there is history of any seizures, because methylphenidates, sometimes we wouldn't want to start if the child has seizures. We would need to keep a track on the growth, the blood pressure of the child as a baseline. However, stimulant medication and atomoxetine do not affect the overall height and weight or growth of the child.
Okay, thank you. What is the role of risperidone and aripiprazole? Is it only for irritability or is it something
Right.
else?
Now, risperidone and aripiprazole are atypical antipsychotic medications. Now, there are studies to say that sometimes in children where there is excess stereotypy, where there is aggressive behavior, self-injurious behaviors and irritability, these drugs may be beneficial. Now, aripiprazole is found to have lesser side effects, cardiovascular side effects, hyperprolactinemia is slightly less compared to risperidone. So that is when we may use these drugs. But caution needs to be, caution is necessary when we use this medication. Basically, we are looking at, when we are looking at a behavior, we not only analyze the behavior, but we see is the behavior causing harm to others or self. And if that is so, judiciously till such time that our strategies come into place, temporarily these drugs may be indicated.
One more drug, that is role of melatonin.
Now, as we said before, in autism, sleep disorders are very common. One of the drugs which has been known to improve sleep patterns in children with autism spectrum is melatonin. There's a systematic review to say that melatonin definitely helps the child sleep better. The child has better daytime behavior and it has minimal side effects. But we don't want to use it for too long. We use it till the sleep pattern is set, get a correct hygiene, a sleep hygiene, get proper sensory activities into place, and our need for medication is reduced.
Okay. Another, that is a role of selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRI.
Right. Now, SSRIs, the ones that we commonly use, are fluoxetine, sertraline, or citalopram. Now, these drugs, there are studies to say, and clinically also, we use them in conditions where the child has excessive anxiety or excessive obsessive compulsive behaviors. These generally tend to come up in children after the age of 8. If it is excessive, we are doing our therapies with the child. We teach the child cognitive behavior therapy or CBT. But till such time that our strategies or thinking strategies for the child fall into place, these drugs may be used. They do tend to have side effects of hyperactivity or increased agitation in children, so we need to use them judiciously. Drugs like fluoxetine take a little while before they start giving results, so we need to titrate the dose very carefully and not jump and increase the dose suddenly.
Tell us something about stepwise approach in case of non or poor progress of the child after treatment.
Okay. Now, since autism is a varied condition, we might have, the earlier the child comes in, the earlier our therapies start, the more regular our therapies are, the more sensitive the parent is to understand the child's strengths and weaknesses, the child is likely to do better. However, 30% of children, despite conventional therapies, may tend to stay minimally verbal. If the child is older, it depends on the child's cognition. So sometimes if the child is 4 and is still minimally verbal and there is a lot of frustration in the child because the child is not able to communicate, we would advocate using AAC, which is Alternative Augmentative Communication, where we teach the child the use of a picture for communication. The child learns to exchange the picture, which is called as PECS. And once the child becomes proficient in it, the child can use an iPad for communication, where the child just presses on it and it says, I want, and he presses on water and it says, I want water. So because the child has a way of communication, automatically behaviors of the child may settle. Sometimes sensory issues of children can be up and down, so we need to have a proper sensory program going. As the child gets older, the cognitive level of functioning of the child decides the sort of school placement that the child goes into. If the child is cognitively able, the child can be mainstreamed into a mainstream school. But if the cognitive difficulties are more, difficulties in communication are more, the child might need a special school placement where therapies are in place.
Okay, okay. Fine. So, one more thing is, tell us something about complementary and alternative medications. Whether we should advocate or if the parents are seeking for those things, whether we should promote or we should deny.
Okay, now there is huge literature on complementary and alternative therapies in autism. Now, because we don't have a cure for core symptoms, naturally parents want to seek for something which might give a magic cure. We need to explain to them that there is no magic cure even using complementary or alternative therapies. And for a sensitive parent, put the facts across to them, put across to them that there needs to be validated studies to prove them. There is a lot about use of diets, gluten-free, casein-free diets, specific carbohydrate diets, vitamin supplements. Now, if the parent wants to go in for it, we need to assure them that this needs to be done under the supervision of a doctor. Also, we need to dissuade them from using therapies which may be harmful for the child. Maybe stem cell or hyperbaric oxygen or chelation and n number of such. We would need to dissuade them from using any therapy which may have side effects for their child.
Okay, okay. That's good enough as of now. We have got a lot many inputs from Dr. Kadam, which would help us in our day-to-day practice. Definitely a helpful interview right now. Thank you, madam, once again.
Thank you so much, sir.